Welcome to this dynamic explainer. Today, we're diving into the utterly fascinating physics of everyday interactions, specifically focusing on a concept our source material brilliantly calls the energy handshake. Okay, let's dive right into this, because what we're about to uncover is going to fundamentally shift how you view the physical world. We're moving away from just passively observing objects to recognizing that there is a constant, active dialogue happening all around us. So consider this really fundamental question. What actually happens when two parts meet? I want you to really think about that for a second. When you touch a wall, when you grab your coffee cup, or hey, even just as you sit in your chair right now, what is actually occurring at that exact point of contact? Our intuition often tricks us into believing that we're simply acting upon an object, like it's a one-way street, but the reality of physics paints a much, much more interactive picture. We're going to treat this explainer like a participatory workshop today, so stay actively engaged with me as we figure out the secret behind these everyday, seemingly mundane physical encounters. To answer that question, let's do a quick physical exercise. Seriously, wherever you are right now, just press your hands together, palm to palm. Go ahead and press them firmly. Notice what's happening? You aren't just pushing your right hand into your left, are you? No, your left hand is actively pushing back against your right. You are experiencing a two-way relationship in real time. It's such a simple act, but it perfectly encapsulates the invisible forces at play every single time two distinct surfaces come into contact. Neither hand is just sitting there passively. They are both active participants in this exchange. So the crucial point is that this physical feeling you just experienced in your own hands is exactly what our source's educational guide, Sparky, calls the energy handshake. It is literally a mutual interaction where energy is given and received simultaneously. Sparky uses this incredibly familiar metaphor of a physical greeting to explain what is actually a massive cornerstone concept in physics. Think about a real handshake with another person, right? It requires a mutual grip and shared energy to even work. When parts meet in the physical world, they aren't just colliding in some one-sided impact, they're essentially shaking hands through energy, initiating an immediate, equal conversation of force. Section 1. The swing phenomenon. Picture a playground with kids on swings. When you walk up to give someone a push, you might naturally think you're doing all the work in a single direction. You're the one applying the force, right? But let's consider the hidden mechanics at play here. First, yes, you give energy by pushing the swing. That's the obvious part. But second, and fundamentally way more important to our understanding of physics, the swing pushes back against your hands. It's an active, mutual exchange. The object you're interacting with isn't just passively accepting your energy. The mass of the swing, plus the person on it, is responding instantly with its own equal force right against your palms. And that brings us to an absolutely unavoidable truth. Energy moves in two directions, always. There's no way around it. This completely shatters the illusion that physical relationships can ever be one-sided. The energy handshake dictates that the flow of force is going outward from you and coming right back into you at the exact same time. It's a simultaneous exchange that governs literally everything, from the friction of your shoes gripping the pavement as you walk down the street, to the way a massive skyscraper rests heavily on its concrete foundation. Section 2. A two-way street. And this brilliantly illustrates exactly what we're talking about. In any action and reaction dynamic, like a hand pushing a ball, there is an immediate, inescapable response. The ball pushes back against the hand. By breaking this down logically, we can see the exact mechanics of the handshake. The action is never, ever isolated. It's always perfectly paired with its reaction. You simply can't have one without the other, which means every push, pull, or press in the entire universe operates as a paired set of forces working in perfect tandem. Okay, let's ground this playful handshake metaphor in some strict terminology so you walk away with the precise, accurate vocabulary. In science, we call this reciprocal force. It is the equal pushback that occurs when one object exerts pressure on another. It's the scientific guarantee that every single time you interact with your environment, the environment interacts right back with the exact same amount of effort. This isn't just a theory, folks. It is a measurable, consistent rule that defines how matter behaves when it comes into contact with other matter, ensuring that forces are always balanced. Now, what's really interesting about this is the vital perspective shift it requires from us as learners. We have to completely move away from the old, limited idea of isolated movements. The flawed notion that a push or a pull happens in a vacuum, completely independent of its surroundings. Instead, we've got to recognize the reality of dynamic exchanges. Because once you grasp the concept of mutual interaction, you stop seeing the world as just a series of disjointed events. You start recognizing the rich, dynamic exchanges happening constantly, connecting objects, people, and forces in this incredibly complex, reciprocal web of energy. Section 3. The continuous loop. Our source material sums this up with a core learning goal that is just so profound. Relationships are not one way, they are two-way energy exchanges. Think about that. This isn't just a lesson about children on swings or pressing our hands together. It's a fundamental realization about the very nature of physical interaction itself. Every single time parts meet, they are communicating through energy, giving and receiving in perfect mutual harmony. It changes our understanding of motion, stability, and structure entirely, reminding us that nothing in the physical world exists in true isolation. Let's move on and see how this builds into our broader reality. Our source notes that physical relationships are never one-sided. They are continuous loops of action and reaction. Every physical interaction we observe is part of an ongoing, never-ending cycle. The initial push creates the reciprocal pushback, which creates the dynamic exchange, forming a continuous loop that quite literally sustains the fabric of our physical world. It's this beautiful, unbroken chain of energy transfer that is happening all around us every single millisecond of the day. So, I want to leave you with a final provocative thought today. Just look around the room you are sitting in right now. Where are the invisible energy handshakes happening? Is it the chair pushing back against your weight? The floor pushing back up against your feet? The world is absolutely alive with these continuous dynamic exchanges. Once you learn to see the energy handshake, you'll realize you are literally always in touch with the universe around you. Keep looking for those invisible connections, and I'll see you in the next explainer.